Hello and welcome back to the Bright Light Wellness YouTube channel and the Healing with Homeopathy Substack. Today I want to talk to you about a really important topic for people to understand when they're healing, and that is the direction of cure. And this can be confusing because sometimes we're not sure that we're healing. So this will help you know, how do you know you're healing? Number one, how do you know you're actually healing? And help you understand the direction of cure. So that direction that the body goes through while it's healing. And this has been something that's been observed for thousands of years, okay? And it's how the body actually heals. And it's a confusing thing about healing because sometimes you feel worse before you feel better. And this is so typical. I took this remedy, I got a little worse, but then it went away, right? This something XYZ got a little worse, but then it got better. Very common response. I gave a remedy for nausea, say, and the nausea got a little worse for a few weeks, but then after that, it got less and less and less, and then it eventually just went away. Yay, that's exactly the response that we want. That's your vital force doing the healing work, because the symptoms are the healing, which is another challenging concept for us to understand, but that's actually how the body is healing. Um, so a lot of times when you're actually healing, old symptoms will come back. Skin eruptions may appear that you've suppressed in the past. Emotions that you've buried deep inside your soul all of a sudden come out and get expressed, right? And a lot of times people panic. They think that something is wrong, but in actuality, what they're witnessing is the body healing in the correct direction. In homeopathy, in natural medicine, and even in circadian biology world, I see this. This principle is known as the direction of cure. Even when people start using sunlight as medicine, they get scared because they get a headache, they get heart palpitations, they get a skin rash, and they're like confused. That's how the body's actually trying to remove what doesn't belong, especially the skin rash. The skin is the largest organ of detoxification, okay? And it's how we remove things that don't belong. I got a pimple. You can see it right here. This is old. I got this pimple. It was, it's this, okay, I'm gonna be a little funny here and graphic. It was a white, gross, pussy, yellow pussy pimple. And it was right here on the tip of my nose. I'm like, ooh, and I popped it in the can. I'm like, yes, something has come out of my liver that doesn't belong. Like, I don't see a skin eruption as a bad thing. I used to have horrible cystic acne, by the way. When I was younger, I had really bad hormonal issues. Not younger, probably in my 30s. I had horrible cystic acne, which I don't have anymore. But when I do get like some sort of pimple, or one time I got this rash on my hip, like I don't freak out because I know something is attempting to expel from my system. Um, so what is the direction of cure? And this is a principle observed by, this principle was founded by a famous homeopath called Dr. Constantine Herring. Now, a little side note about Constantine Herring, if you haven't heard me tell this story before, I think it's a good one to hear and know because of many people who become famous homeopaths or a lot of people who get into homeopathy, they are non-believers and then they get converted. And that's Constantine Herring's story is he was an allopathic physician in the 19, it must have been 1800s. It was in Hanuman's time. And he was meant to debunk it, like to debunk homeopathy, to help people see that homeopathy is quote unquote snake water or pseudoscience or blah 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 blah. Right. So he was there to say, yeah, this is complete garbage, right? So the allopaths, because there was like a war between the homeopaths and the allopaths. So the allopaths sent Constantine Herring to debunk it. He's like, go check out these homeopaths, see what they're doing, and let's prove that it's garbage, basically. Let's prove that it's not real medicine because there's nothing in it, right? Just the energetics, right? It's an energetic medicine. So he was set out to do this. And he winds up cutting his finger really badly. He was working on a cadaver and he cut his finger really badly. And the allopathic doctor said it winds up getting an infection. And the allopathic doctor said, you know what? We're going to have to take this finger. You're going to have to amputate it. There's nothing we can do. We've tried everything. And he was like, I don't want to lose my finger. I want to be a surgeon. I want to be a physician. I need my finger, right? Like I can't live without my finger. So he desperately went to the homeopath who gave him arsenic amalgam and cured his gangrene and infection on his finger. And then he became a homeopath. He was convinced. So a lot of people who become homeopaths get into it by being convinced. That happened to me as well. I mean, I was on a trajectory of unlearning, right? But what got me into homeopathy was finally saying, okay, let me see a homeopath. Why not? What do I have to lose, right? And then having a miraculous, cure, not a complete 100% resolution after my first remedy, of course, but like a huge significant improvement. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. You can cure a urinary yeast infection with homeopathy? Like I was like, okay. And then I became a homeopath. Like literally, I signed up for a homeopathic class literally 2 days later. So this is my point, okay? This is how he became a homeopath and one of the most famous homeopaths, Constantine Herring. He actually went into the bars and like was standing on the tables and telling like people, "You're wrong about homeopathy." Like he would scream and he's like, "You're wrong, and what you're doing is barbaric. You were going to take my finger, and now look, it's cured and it's healed, and I don't need to remove my finger." And he was like, "Oh, like he was hyped on it after that." Anyway, so that's a little bit about Constantine Harrington. That was a little side note. Constantine Herring. I say Harrington. He's Herring. Um, he noticed though, and as a physician, he started noticing these patterns. And the pattern he noticed is that when the people truly heal, symptoms tend to resolve in predictable patterns. And there are four different patterns that he observed. One was from the inside out. We'll talk about each of these in depth. The second was from top to bottom, so top of the body downward. The third was from more vital organs to least vital organs, or in the reverse order that symptoms originally appeared. And these patterns can help us practitioners today, and even you, if you're the client or on a healing journey, understand whether the body is actually healing or simply just suppressing symptoms, right? So, inside out, the body always prioritizes protecting vital organs. That means healing begins often when symptoms move from deeper systems to surface symptoms. So, an example would be asthma improves, but eczema returns. That is a very common correlation when you're healing asthma to see skin eruptions come back out that have been suppressed. Joint pain appears after digestive issues resolve. Skin eruptions after many years of suppressed illness, they can return. Many people try to suppress skin eruptions, but the skin, again, I said this before, is the body's safest detox pathway. It's the largest detox pathway. We never want to suppress things on the skin because then we're pushing it back deeper into the organs. You want to let that express. Your body makes no mistakes. It does everything it's doing for a reason. The body is pushing an imbalance out. Okay. More vital organs to least vital ones. So the body protects organs in order of importance. So these vital organs are your brain, your heart, your lungs, your kidney. Less vital organs, skin, hair, nails, joints, right? So the lungs improve, right? So if the symptoms move from like the lungs to like the asthma to this to the skin eruption, right? To the eczema, the lungs improve and it moves towards the skin. That's a huge improvement, right? The brain improves, some sort of mental health thing improves, like anxiety or depression, but there's joint pain happening. Huge improvement. Same thing if you had heart disease, your heart is healthier, but your joints hurt. Wonderful. Again, another one I see often in practice, you start to notice these patterns, but suppressing joint pain often leads to heart disease, right? So we have to be careful of these things. The suppression of the symptoms causes deeper pathology. Okay, again, digestion heals, and then again, something might come out on the skin. You've suppressed the acne in the past, digestion is healing, acne needs to come out and resurface again. This can be a sign that the body is moving away from critical systems, right? The disease is moving away from these critical systems. Another one is that symptoms resolve in reverse order. Okay, so old symptoms can come back temporarily. So when you take a homeopathic remedy or you start increasing your redox or you start improving your terrain, you'll be like, oh, wait a minute. I thought I dealt with this already. And then there it is resurfacing. So this could be an example, could be old childhood eczema returning, an old injury that you've had, aching old pains, past emotional experiences resurfacing. I thought I dealt with all that grief, and there it is again. I thought I dealt with all that shame, and here it is again. But that the grief is there to alchemize you to gratitude. The shame is there to help you be more authentic. I said that word wrong. The shame alchemizes into being more authentic. The grief alchemizes into having more gratitude. That anger alchemizes into putting up more boundaries. Emotions serve a purpose. They are not bad. They are there to help you grow and evolve and into greater levels of consciousness and awareness about yourself to help your soul and your spirit grow. Side note, I tend to do that. Um, so you can see emotional things coming back up and resurfacing. You had an ear infection in the past that you suppressed. Maybe that comes back. You had strep throat in the past. Maybe you feel that again. These things may resurface. Okay. This happens because the body is unwinding layers of suppression. Okay. Healing is not linear. It's a process of peeling back layers. And I often say it's a spiraling layers. And we'll talk about that too. So, why this principle matters? Because modern medicine is very focused on symptom suppression. Okay. But suppression often pushes the symptoms deeper into the body. So, example, steroid creams suppressing eczema, asthma appears. Your medical doctor knows that correlation, okay? That when you suppress eczema, you create asthma or gut issues, which is very, very common as well. Gut issues after suppression of steroid creams. Work with homeopathic detox. This is something that I do. I help people. I use homeopathic remedies to help people remove these layers of suppression with constitutional care remedies, the remedy that matches the totality of your suffering and your symptoms. But also, I use homeopathic detox to remove things like I use what's called isopathy, where we actually take the same substance in homeopathic preparation. So if you took steroid creams and you've never been well since steroid creams, we take steroids internally homeopathically, and then it helps remove that that chokehold on your system basically, and you can heal. Antibiotics disrupt the gut microbiome and cause chronic gut issues, suppressing emotions, chronic nervous system dysregulation, right? We need to express and flow emotions. It is so important. They get stuck in your fascia, stuck in your tissue, and they do not leave. Just like when we take antibiotics and we think that, oh, that infection went away. No, it didn't. It's just harboring deeper in your body, and you suppress the symptoms that were the body's attempt to remove and heal it. Homeopathy does not suppress, it supports. It helps your body up level, get stronger, and remove it itself. It's not, it's because that's because it's in an energetic form. That's why it does that amazing healing work. Okay, so the direction of cure teaches us something profound. The body is always trying to restore balance, even if the process looks uncomfortable. And I get it, it sucks, it's uncomfortable, and it's like, why do I have to deal with this again? Or why is my body responding this way? Get a good flower essence practitioner can help you with the mental, emotional. Get some good people on board to support you in this. But yes, the body is always attempting to heal. Now, I mentioned this before. I have a video on this. Healing happens in spirals. And I think one of the best ways to understand healing is that it happens in spirals, not in straight linear lines. Okay. So you might revisit old emotions, old patterns, old symptoms, but each time you return to them, it's from a higher level of health. You're not the same person you were that experienced them 20 years ago. The body is reorganizing itself in spirals. And that's why I actually had a client ask me this question yesterday. can we heal a layer but then have to come back to it later on in life? And I said, yes, I've done that many times. The amount of CPA was my first remedy, and the amount of times I've spiraled back to it, one, two, three other times I've used it after using it. So we can spiral back to these layers again because it's kind of like part of our we have more than one constitution. We don't have just one constitutional homeopathic remedy. Sorry to burst that bubble. Not in this chronically sick modern world that we deal with. Not with all of the suppression that we've had, that we've done to ourselves, our families have done in the past, right? That's passed down to us ancestrally from your parents, from your grandparents, from past lives. Your life, I truly believe, I become very soulful. Your soul has lived probably many, and you may not buy into this, it might not be for you. So just ignore me if it doesn't resonate. You're, some people are not ready for this, or they're just their beliefs go against it. But I believe your soul has had many, maybe it's your first rodeo, I don't know, but likely your soul has had many chances here, and I know for sure it's not my first one. I've seen my past lives. I can tell by my astrology chart that it is that I have some karmic things that show that this is not my first life here. And we carry that with us. The soul is trying to keep learning, and that's why it comes back. It learns again and again and again until it figures the lessons out. Okay? And then it becomes enlightened, I believe, and then maybe you're done. I'm not really sure what happens then. I haven't lived that part yet. I'm not there. My soul is on a journey, a deep journey of self-learning about myself. I'm working on myself, my astrology chart, and I read astrology charts to people now. So if you need if you want an astrology reading, it's not up on my website yet, but send me a DM. It's something that will be on my website in the next month. I'll be putting it up there, but I also weave it into my homeopathic sessions as well. But my astrology chart shows that I am on a journey of self-discovery, like a deep self-discovery right now. Okay. Okay. So that was a big side note, but yes, healing happens in spirals. So as practitioners, we use the direction of cure. As a client, as someone who's healing, use the direction of cure. Um, we want to watch for movement of symptoms outward, return of old symptoms, emotional releases, improved energy despite temporary discomfort. These are signs and indications that the body is moving in the right direction. Without understanding this principle, many people stop healing protocols too early. And that's the truth. They give up, they get scared, they get worried. So, healing is not always comfortable, but when the body is supported properly, it follows an intelligent order. Symptoms move outward, they move downward, they move back through the timeline of the body. This is the direction of cure. And when you understand it, you stop fearing the healing process and start using or start trusting the intelligence of the body. So for me, when an old symptom returns, of course, I get a little bit of anxiety about like because it's uncomfortable or painful or hard to deal with, but I know that my body is moving through something really important. And on the other side of it is going to be an up level in my health. Just like when I get an acute, I need another acute. Your body gets an upgrade. It gets an up leveling. Okay. Um, so if you're navigating like complex healing journey and you want guidance or interpretation, of your symptoms, this is exactly the kind of work that I do with my clients because I understand how the body heals. And that can make the difference between feeling lost and feeling empowered in your healing process, which is huge. Okay. And I think it'd be good to share a couple of stories about this because I think it might help it land a little bit better for you guys. I mean, another one where I can really say that's amazing. I share this story so many times about my middle son. He had chronic anxiety, panic attacks, things like this, really, really struggling with panic attacks and whatnot. And when he was healing, he actually was tired. So first he was tired, and then he had this like bold bout of alopecia areata come out, and that was how his body was healing it, right? So that was from the inside out, from the brain out, right? The brain symptoms to outward symptoms, right? So that's how the body was healing it. So let me give you another example of what this could look like. How about the client that I worked with that came struggling with chronic digestive issues, fatigue, and anxiety. Her gut symptoms had been going on for years, and nothing she tried resolved them. After working on supporting her terrain, homeopathy, here's what happened. Her digestion actually began improving, but suddenly a skin rash appears, of course, and people get nervous and anxious about that. It feels alarming. It feels like something is wrong. But when we look deeper into her history, she remembered something important. As a child, she had eczema for years and it was treated aggressively with steroid creams, right? So this is just the healing, right? They have these chronic gut issues, constipation. They're finally going to the bathroom. They're finally going regularly. Their stools are normal, right? But now here's this skin eruption, right? And it was treated with steroid creams. So once the eczema disappeared, that's when the digestive symptoms actually started showing up. So is it that that's the eczema not actually truly being healed and being pushed deeper into the body? So that's what we're actually seeing was the body was moving in the correct direction of cure. The imbalance was shifting from the deeper digestive symptoms back out to the skin. So return of old symptom, internal to outernal. Over time, we continue supporting the body. The rashes naturally resolve, but that takes time, and our digestion continued to improve. That's a direction of cure in action. Another example on the emotional level that this can show up is sometimes when people begin healing physically, old emotions start to resurface. So, memories of grief, anger, sadness that were buried for years. Again, often people think something is wrong, but in many cases, the nervous system is finally safe enough to process what was suppressed. Homeopathy works directly on the autonomic nervous system as well as flower essences. So when the body finally feels safe enough to process these emotions, they're going to come up and out, which is good. It's beautiful. We need to get them stuck out of the fascia and out of the tissues, up and out of the body. So the body isn't just healing physically, it's reorganizing emotionally, neurologically as well. That's when true healing happens on emotional levels, right? So this is why understanding the direction of cure is so important because if you don't know what's happening, you might try to suppress the very process that is actually helping you heal. Instead of asking, why is this symptom happening? The better question is, where is this symptom moving? Is it moving outwards? Is it moving away from vital organs? Is it moving back through your health timeline? If the if the question is yes, that's often a sign that the body is reorganizing itself in the right direction. So the body doesn't create symptoms randomly, it's intelligent. And when given the right support, it knows exactly how to unwind years of imbalance, but it does it in layers. And understanding the direction of cure helps you trust the process instead of fearing it. And fear, my friends, is probably the most challenging emotion that can keep us stuck, okay, in this loop. So we've got to address that fear if that's coming up. All right, I hope that you found this video enlightening, educational, you enjoyed it. If you want to know more or have questions, please put them below. I'm happy to answer questions, stories of healing I would love to hear, questions you have, comments you have. What else something else? What's another topic you want me to teach on? I love teaching about homeopathy and terrain and vital force and healing and all these things. This is like such a huge passion of mine. So if there's something you want me to teach on, let me know. Your questions can dictate my content. So please ask them. Also, please let me know. What else you want to know more about? That's what I was going to say. And follow me if you're watching this on YouTube. Follow me over on the Healing with Homeopathy Substack. You'll get a lot more content there, especially if you become a paid subscriber. You can really learn how to use homeopathy in your home. If you're a practitioner who wants to understand real root causes of disease, there's lots of information there. I have my miasmatic blueprint. Which is the Understanding the Stories of Disease course, which is an amazing course, which you can understand the real true root causes of disease, which are miasms. Um, and miasms get triggered through suppressed emotions, right? And medical drugging, basically. So if you want to know more, you can reach me over there. And yeah, I am really looking forward to hearing from you. All right, catch me over there. Have a wonderful day. And if you need support, you can book in with me. I am taking new clients for homeopathic care or one-to-one work. So looking forward to supporting you, and I will chat with you guys on the next video. Have a great rest of your day.